Hi, I'm Lucy, and I'm here to introduce how we can iterate on and create new metrics. In my previous tutorial, I introduced what metrics are, how to add them to an agent, and how to view the results. While those general metrics are useful in helping me evaluate my agent, I want to evaluate my home cooking chef agent specifically. So I wrote this agent to be a master chef that is excited to help a user learn a new recipe. I also expect the agent to have the ability to search the web for more information when needed. So I think these two objectives are a good place to start for me to create my newest metric. So right now, I can see that I have these two more general metrics applied, and I want to create a new one. Going into my call history, I know there was this call where I expected my agent to do some research. I also looked at the previous results, and I think I want to try building a new metric, keeping this call in mind. So let's try a new metric. Now we are on the Create a Metric page, and we can arrive at this page through other means from the different metrics tabs as well. Since metrics are LLM-as-a-judge, I need to write a prompt to help me evaluate this call. So let's think. I'm not sure how to get started. We have a few templates here that gives you an idea of what could be a good prompt to iterate on. For example, we can start with telling the LLM to analyze the call transcript, look for specific things, and return very specific information. That makes a lot of sense. So I think in my case, I'm going to start with writing one to evaluate whether my agent did search online for the recipes that a user requested. I'm currently writing what I think is a good prompt, and I will need to be able to test this out later. And I think using other tools to write this prompt can also be really helpful. So we can consider this a first draft. Okay. And I think what's very important is specifying what the value is meant to return. So metrics are best used if it returns a classification, a Boolean value, or a numerical value. You can think of it as later we want to do aggregations over these results, and these values are more controlled and easier to aggregate over. So you may have noticed the call that we were just viewing had a call ID, and our current metric page has it auto-populated since we came from that page. So now let's test if how this metric would work on that call specifically. And here it indicates that it did make a search to Google to query for the best recipes. And that's great. Okay, so now this metric works on this call. How does it work with other calls? I'm going to go back to that previous page and copy over some other calls. Maybe let's get this call ID. Another one. Now let's run it again. Okay, seeing these results, only the first one used web search. And I know that to be true because I did iterate on my text agent, and it only had web search capability for the most recent call. So, okay, that's sounding pretty good to me. So now that I like this metric, I want to create it. So let's give it a name. And let's create this metric. So now that I've created this metric, I get the chance to add it to other agents. So any metric can apply to any agents, and they can be reused across agents and reused by different individuals in your organization. In my case, my metric was written specifically for my home cooking chef, since my prompt asks about recipes. And so I'm not going to add it to any other agent. I also do want to test this over the most recent calls so I can see the results right away. So let us create this metric. And we can view that this metric now exists and it is applied to my home cooking chef. So let's go back. Now that we're back on this page, we go back to the calls and we should see that within the metrics, we have our evaluation results. And that's great. This is added in addition to my previous ones. We have these new results. And yeah, that is how we can iterate and create a new metric.